Would you say I have a reasonable understanding of how to execute these various sex acts properly?
Yes.
How awesome is that? What you're doing is disgusting. Listen, lady.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Well, mostly gentlemen, probably. Boys and girls. It's good to see you all here again. I'm Stirling Cooper, and welcome. Welcome. Today, I want to talk about something that just make sure I'm sitting the right distance from this camera. I'm going to keep this face in focus, guys. We're going to make sure showing off this lovely painting behind me here, but mostly importantly, I'm going to make sure I'm in focus because that's what matters. So I had this conversation with a buddy of mine in Louisiana, and I thought it was a really good, interesting conversation. I thought it was an interesting topic to bring up for you guys because I think everyone could learn from this. And the idea was simply that a lot of guys shoot themselves in the foot in dating, in relationships, be it before they've had sex with the girl or after they've had sex with the girl, whatever. They'll shoot themselves in the foot by doing things. They're actively making things worse for themselves. When in reality, if they just did less, if they didn't do something, if their response was, instead of doing something, their response was to do nothing, they would actually be better off. Because the things they're doing tend to come from this blue pill, simpy, Hallmark Disney narrative frame of mind. And that tends to be their default. Because they've been trained badly. They've been raised to believe the lies. They've been raised to believe the wrong thing. So their default response to a lot of things, their default things they say, the default things they do tend to screw them up, tend to be the completely wrong things for them to do. And not only are they the wrong things to do, they push them backwards. Whereas if they just did nothing at all, it would be far better than doing the wrong thing. Now, there's the right thing. Someone absolutely who's exactly what to do, who can, navigate the sort of mindful, who can have a response perfect to every woman's. Okay, that's pushing you in the direction. Sure, great. If you can do that, you can do that. Go right ahead. Most guys can't. Most guys don't have those skills under the belt. But most guys will try to do something, and it's going to push them back, rather than doing nothing at all, and they'll stay exactly where they are. It's going to be far better than taking 2 steps backwards. So let's give some more practical, real-world examples of this. Oh boy. Looks like we might be having some connection issues, unfortunately, because I'm in a hotel. So the internet here might not be the strongest thing in the world. So we might just keep this a very brief stream, unfortunately. Where do we get to? Yeah. We'll keep this one brief. So, first example, and Miska, up in the chat here, the very first comment here, before we went live, he dropped a comment in the chat saying when he's on his mission, he doesn't have time to be, fawning over his girl, simping over his girl. He's got better things to do. He's got his fucking mission to do. And that only makes her want him more. That only makes him chase her more. That only makes her chase him more. That only makes his attention more valuable. So that's a good thing. He's not actively it's not like he's actually actively trying to kind of ignore her. It's not like he's trying to like make his attention valuable. It's just a consequence of him being on his mission, doing his thing. Take the opposite example of that. The opposite example of that would be a guy who is desperately trying to squeeze his girl into his schedule every 5 minutes. He's desperately trying to make sure that, they're having dinner every night, make sure they're having date night every night, or whatever it might be. Putting her as a priority instead of his mission in his life and his business or whatever it might be. That pedestalization of her, putting her first over everything else, is really shooting you in the foot. It's the wrong thing. They don't want that. They want a guy they can look up to. I came to this conclusion a while ago as well. If a woman sleeps with you, then inherently she thinks that you are better than her. And I say that again slower. If she sleeps with you, she thinks that you are better than her. And this might sound weird, but women don't date down. They only date up. Women don't date a guy or don't sleep with guys who they at least think are less resourceful, financially resourceful, less socially networked, less good looking, or have less game, right? They sleep with and look for guys who are up in value, in social value, in sexual market value, right? So by default, she must, even if she doesn't consciously say it, consciously acknowledge it, subconsciously, she thinks that you are better than her, right? So if she's sleeping with you, then she already thinks that you're better than her. Then the problem is, as soon as you start pedestalizing her, as soon as you start, making extra time for her, putting her first above everything else, then you have flipped that dynamic in her head. You flipped it. So she thinks, or at least in her subconscious mind, what's happening is, I thought he was better than me. Clearly he's not, because he's putting me on a pedestal. Shit, I picked the wrong guy. It's time to move on. Or it's time to, I better test him. I better shit test this guy just to make sure he is still the guy that I thought he was. Oh no, he failed my crap. He failed my shit test. He fucking sit there again. Yeah, the guy was. Better find one. That's the thought process that's going on there, right? So let's go through a few more examples. I don't see any more questions in the chat here about I don't know, it says buffering now, damn. So we talked about making your time and attention valuable. Another example would be like in relationships, like trying to split the housework 50-50, trying to do your part, doing little special things to try and make her, like acts of service to make her feel special and liked and stuff. Like, here's a good example would be giving your girlfriend a massage or something, right? You might think, yeah, that's a nice thing to do, and it is a nice thing to do, but just from experience, it playing it out in the real world, like this sort of tit for tat logical thinking in relationship. If I do this for her, she's going to reciprocate, or it's going to, be beneficial to me later on. It's going to add value to the relationship later on. They don't think like that. So it's actually better for you to let her do things for you. It's actually better for you to just let her, say, give you a back massage, give you a foot rub, clean up the house, cook for you, clean for you, bring you some coffee, whatever it is. because she feels more invested in you. She, in the act of serving you, she's reaffirming that initial assumption that you are better than her. So she's reaffirming her choice. She's like, yes, she's backwards rationalizing it. She's like, oh, well, I wouldn't be doing this for him if he wasn't a great guy. I wouldn't be doing this for him if he wasn't a great catch. Yes, and green light here is mentioned in the comments. Covert contracts. This is actually very important. Covert contracts. Good to see you in the chat, green light. You're a new name. I haven't seen you before. Actually, first of all, let me say hi to everyone else in the chat before I keep going down this rabbit hole. So we've got Davina, good to see you as usual. Miska, as always, good to see you. The entrepreneurs here, good to see you. Kaniki, good to see you, my friend. Darimo, thank you for jumping in. Ricardo, no, I'm not in Portugal. Randall J, is always good to see you, my friend. Wait Up, good to see you. Joel Rez, good to see you, my friend. Switching Worlds, nice to have you in the chat. But back to covert contracts. So what I was saying before was this idea of, and I think this is from the book. This is from the book No More Mr. Nice Guy, if I'm remembering correctly. So let's say I give my girlfriend a massage, right? When guys do this stuff, it tends to come from a place of, oh, well, I want a massage. So I'll give her a massage first, and then she'll feel like she has to reciprocate. It's almost like guilt tripping somebody into doing something for you by doing it to them first. And that, no one likes that. That makes them feel resentful. No one really likes that. You know? It's like it's kind of like you ever have those Hare Krishnas at the airport try to give you a flower, or they give you a flower, or they give you some kind of little special bead or a gift. There's a reason for that. It's because they give you that, and then they ask you for a donation to their to the Hare Krishnas, because it's a reciprocity thing. They've given you something for free, and then they've kind of guilt tripped you into giving them something back. So that is kind of what a covert contract is, and people do this all the time in relationships, and they're not fully conscious of the fact that they're doing it, but they don't know any other way to get what they want. They're too afraid to just ask for the damn thing. They're too afraid to, like, hey babe, my feet hurt. Can you give me a foot rub? They won't say that. Or if they do, the girl will be like, get the fuck out of here, blah, because the relationship dynamic is off. Let's keep going through some other examples. Danny Arnold, good to see you in the chat as always, mate. Where we get to? Chores, letting her massage you, that kind of stuff. Apologizing. Like, again, goes back to this idea of doing less. This is a personal habit of mine, and I think this comes from a combination of things. It comes from a combination of maybe the Australian culture, the Commonwealth culture, the English culture. I think Canadians do this a lot. I know the English do this a lot. I think Australians do this a lot as well, where we'll say sorry when we actually mean to say excuse me or pardon me, something like that. Basically, rather than, you're not actually sorry, it's like, say you're in somebody's way in a footpath, or you accidentally bump into somebody, or like you understand these sort of little social situations, right? Where you would typically say, oh, I'm sorry. But what you should actually be saying instead is excuse me or pardon me, because you're not sorry. The word sorry actually is a very important word to restrict your usage of. Because sorry implies it was your fault. Sorry implies some degree of, like, shame. You shouldn't feel shame for just walking around in the world. And so we misuse that word quite a lot. So that's, for me personally, that's a habit I have to constantly try to remind myself to undo, because I've had that since I was a kid, and it's just part of my cultural upbringing. So I have to undo that. But not apologizing for your wants, your needs, your desires. Not apologizing for being a man, for God's sake. Because I think too many men do that, either in a relationship. They'll apologize for doing manly things. I don't know. Or they'll kind of subconsciously apologize in like the dating stage before they've even slept with the girl by like second guessing themselves. This is actually a really big one. They'll second guess themselves. They'll think and they'll worry about like, oh, if I say this, how's she going to feel? If I say X, is she going to like it? Is she not going to like it? And they'll second guess their own like thoughts, their own words, their own actions, and then they'll start morphing and from the very beginning, they're kind of morphing and molding their own personality rather than letting it come out and shine. And they'll dull their self. They'll dull their personality. They'll dull what they can actually bring. Because think about this, like when you're around your best friends, your closest friends, the people who would die for you, right? And if you don't have people like that in your life, you should have people like that in your life because they're a blessing. There's nothing better than having a couple of close brothers in your life who would do anything for you. And when you're around them, you are just the ultimate expression of yourself. You can say whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. You're typically at your funniest. You're at your most charming. You're at your most energetic. And that's kind of how you would like to express yourself all the time. But we censor ourselves a lot of the time. And it makes sense in this day and age, in this kind of climate. We're in a cancel culture. So we tend to censor ourselves a bit with that. But if you're going to bring a girl into your life, you don't necessarily need to tell her everything about you. You don't need to just dump all of your beliefs and your values and your opinions and everything like within the first 5 minutes of meeting a girl. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying don't dull yourself, because that is kind of an act of apologizing for who you are. It's an act of second guessing and worrying and thinking too much. So getting back to the topic of like doing less, think less, worry less, second guess less, apologize less. That will always lead to a significantly better outcome, I think. Because especially when it comes to being in a relationship with a girl, it's about setting the frame. Like if you should be the one leading and you should be the one in charge. And I'm guilty. I mean, look, all the advice I give you guys, everything I talk about comes from the fact that I've made mistakes like this in the past. So I don't ever want you guys to think that I'm fucking perfect and infallible and I've never done this stuff I'm talking about. The reason I can give this advice is because I've made these mistakes in my life. So I know that I fucked up. So I can look back and be like, all right, here's why that was wrong. Now, you can prevent yourself from doing that as well. So, what was I getting at there? Another example. Sometimes when a girl says something that's like a shit test, or she texts you something that's like a shit test, or she's saying something, she's acting kind of bratty, or she's acting out, she says something a little bit rude, a little bit snarky, right? Either in person or via text. Sometimes, like, look, if you're a stone cold pimp, you know the perfect response for everything. Okay, you're gonna reply and reply in the right way. But a lot of guys don't know how to do that, and so they'll either overthink a reply, or they'll immediately sort of jump into a reply straight away, which is like an instinctual kind of habitual reply, which will be seated in some bad habits, seated in, say, blue pill mentality, seated in Hallmark Disney kind of mentality. And so it'll come across the wrong frame. When in reality, the best thing to do is just to say nothing, to reply, not to give any attention. Nothing, just cut off. It's doing less, and it works better. Just doing it. Not giving them the reward of the attention, observation of it. There's one thing, and I'll get like sort of a running point. And then I'll go through some comments from you guys. We'll keep less effort on dates and less effort in a relationship as well. Like some guys will sort of simp out to the max and they'll try to plan this like uber elaborate date for a girl and spend all this money and spend all this time and investment in a girl that they don't even fucking know and they haven't even had sex with yet. Versus, I don't know, going for a 30-minute coffee date, going for like a drink date, and then smashing. Like simpler, less effort. Again, you want to reaffirm the frame that she should think that you are better than her, because that's where she needs to be mentally for her to sleep with you in the first place. So if you're pedestalizing, if you're putting, I'm not saying don't pay for the date or anything like that. I think you should be paying for the date because you fucking invited her. You're the man, you're leading, but you have a limit at how much you're willing to invest in a new person in your life, someone you've invited into your life. You have a limit. So there's that to consider. Let's bounce through some of these comments here. I'm sure there's a few I missed. Here we go, Miska. And if one thing, I'm going to get a nice massage from my Finnish fitness competitor girl tonight. Good man, Miska. Frederic has said, every man needs to hear these things. Thank you so much for spreading the message. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And don't forget, hit the like button while you're here, guys. It helps it show up in the algorithm. Ozunaga says, I think it's more like pressured to apologize by a society that has become overly sensitive. That is definitely part of it. It's society's become, it's focused a lot on emotions. It's focused on less on like logic and reason and facts, and it's more on like, how does this make us all feel? How does it make me feel? How does it make someone else feel? Am I hurting anybody's feelings? And that is, you're right, that's kind of at the forefront of a lot of decision making and a lot of societal pressure. Greenlight says, one of the rules of Poon, 3 to 2 for every 3 things she does. You might only do 2 for her. I'd make that like 3 to 1 or 4 to 1 or something like that, mate. If that. Kai says, will this be on the YouTube channel? Yep. All these live streams end up on the YouTube channel. They don't go away. Liam Brown has said, I know this is a taboo topic, even for a sex-focused channel, but have you found that women care whether you're circumcised or not? I'm interested to hear your perspective. Great question. I will, let's come back to that because let's hit some of these other questions that are kind of more on point, and then I'll come back to this, Liam, because it's an interesting question. One of the cool side effects of being unapologetic about being masculine, not particularly PC any longer, is triggering the fuck out of Karens and other SJW types. That is also correct, Danny. It is a lot of fun. You're right. Have you ever noticed how SJWs always have the same tone of voice? Yeah, it's a whiny, pain in the ass kind of tone of voice. Berserker has said, what would you call the frame of mind or state of mind women are attracted to, like Alpha Bad Boy, which I see as different personalities or something else? What would you call the frame of... What would you call the frame or state of mind women are attracted to? Unflinching is what I would call it. Like unflinching, unwavering, like unaffected. If you could turn it into like one word, that frame of mind, that would kind of be the way I would phrase it. It's like, oh, for a bad boy, whatever. Like she can't fuck with him. A lot of guys think like, oh, women are attracted to assholes. Well, yes and no, but it's not the fact that he's an asshole. It's the fact that he doesn't like, he's unaffected by her. If she's crying, he doesn't care. It's the unaffected part that is the attractive part. So you can be that without being an asshole necessarily. But people think you're an asshole anyway. So, you might actually be a nice guy, but people are going to label you an asshole. So, excellent, Frederick. Click the like and subscribe button as impressed. Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Where did we get to? So Popmania says, I like massaging my girlfriend. This is better behavior. So I'm going to ask you, my friend, are you doing it to try and please her? Are you doing it to try, is going back to the whole covert contract thing we mentioned earlier on. Are you doing it to try subconsciously? Think about this for a second, like take an introspective look on it. When you do it, are you doing it to try and elicit some other response from her, some kind of positive response from her, some approval or some other reciprocal act of service from her? Or are you just doing it because you're a giving kind of guy and you'd like to see the look on her face? You know, perfect example. And this is the same example. This also applies to eating pussy, which is for some reason a super controversial subject in this sphere. Some guys will be like, "Oh, eating pussy is beta," blah 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 blah. Like, personally, I enjoy eating pussy, and I'm not doing it for like, oh, if I eat her pussy, then she'll suck my dick. She's gonna suck my dick anyway. Like, she's gonna have sex with me no matter what. Like, if we're in that situation, we're already having sex. So when I eat pussy, I do it because I know I'm fucking good at it, and so I enjoy it, and I enjoy it because I'm fucking good at it. But it's the act of, like, I enjoy the act, you know. So, but whereas when other guys eat pussy, they're doing it to try and elicit a response. They're doing it to try and get her approval. So it's important to recognize where you're coming from. So it was a good question, Popmania. I'm glad you asked it. Sammy Moore says, not apologizing for no reason and taking the word sorry out of my vocabulary was game-changing. Absolutely, Samuel. Yeah, I have to work on it myself. It is hard to break these habits that have been around for just forever. And you haven't yet, until you've paid attention to them. You're like, oh, damn, I do that a lot. I really need to cut that shit out. Let's keep going. A little something for the cookie jar. Thank you, Danny, as always. $5 super chat. Maybe you and Thor can go get steaks. Yeah. Well, if Thor ever comes out to the East Coast, yes, I'm out in Miami now. So me and Thor, I said I actually got to see Thor last week. I was by California. Definitely eat what you like because you want to. That's yep. So Cutter says the more you them, the more it means things done. Yep. The more you speak. Saying no is a big turn on because no tells them absolutely. Saying no is very, very important. And yeah, if you do it all, so for example, like with massaging or whatever, right? If you're doing it all the goddamn time, it loses its value. Like, if I get it all the time, it no longer has value. It's no longer special. It's no longer meaningful. It's never important. So you got to be careful with how much you give that away. Yeah. There was one other question here. So what I'll do is I'll go back to because there's a couple of sex-related questions here. So what I'll do is I'll go back to Liam's question here. So because these two are kind of related. So he said, have you found that women are or care whether you are circumcised or not? You know what's funny? Obviously, I work in porn, and the girls I work with have sex with a lot of different penises. Many of them are circumcised, many are not circumcised. And so my opinions on this are based around what I hear these girls saying. A lot of them can't even fucking tell if a dude is circumcised or not. That sounds retarded, I know, but that is true. A lot of them cannot even fucking tell. And here's why. Because they don't see the dick flaccid. They only see the dick when it's erect. And some guys, even if they're uncircumcised, their head comes out of, like, the sheath, out of the foreskin anyway. So they kind of look like a circumcised dick anyway. So a lot of these girls can't even fucking tell, for a start. And then you have girls on both sides of the camp who are like, oh, like these dicks look cleaner than these dicks, or these dicks feel better than this dicks, or whatever, being circumcised or whatever. My point to you, Liam, is that you shouldn't give a fuck, because you can't really change that. First of all, if you are uncircumcised, do not, under any fucking circumstance, get circumcised. Ever. Ever. I will beat your ass if you get fucking circumcised, you moron. If it's your fucking choice, do not get circumcised. Here's the reason. Your penis is meant to be like that. Your penis is meant to have a fucking foreskin. You were born with it, for fuck's sake. It's like fucking chopping an arm off. Like, this is how your body's meant to be. There's a lot of nerve endings. There's a lot of things down there in the foreskin that are meant to keep your glands, your penis sensitive, like, keep it healthy. So, dear God, if anyone fucking watching this has ever thought about getting circumcised, if you're a fully grown man, or you're thinking about getting fucking circumcised, get rid of that thought. Is fucking barbaric. I am circumcised. I was a baby. I don't have a fucking choice in the matter. You can guarantee I'm not going to be cutting my fucking son's dick off when the time comes. Not fucking happening. However, if you're circumcised, there's nothing really. I mean, you actually can bring back. I talk about how to do that in my book. It is possible. It takes a long time. It is possible, but it's not exactly the same. It's similar. It can help recover some of the lost sensitivity, some of the dryness, some of the moisture in the glands and stuff. But it's not the same as having the natural foreskin. So if you are circumcised, don't beat yourself up over it. You didn't have a choice in it. It is what it is. Fucking just move on. Like, why you like? If a girl is not gonna. Here's what is never going to happen. It's never going to be a case where the girl is infatuated with you. She's like, this guy's so hot. He's so cool. He's so funny. You take her back to your bedroom, and you're making out. And then she puts her hand down your pants and she starts stroking your dick. And then your pants come off, and she takes a look at your erect penis. She's like, oh, you're circumcised. Sorry, I'm out of here. That never has that ever happened in the history of planet Earth. So, well, unless maybe she's Jewish or something. In that case, it would be the other way around. She's like, you told me you were Jewish, liar. Maybe that has happened, but that's not going to happen to you. So why the fuck do you care? Like, you don't really have control over it. I mean, you can regrow your foreskin, but it takes years. So stop caring if they like that or not, Liam. It'd be like caring about the color of your eyes. Like, oh, do girls like brown eyes or blue eyes? Like, well, okay, well, yeah, you could get fucking contacts, but like, why the fuck do you care? You know, it's you. Stop apologizing for being you. And there was another question, a sex-related question down here. Where we get to? Where was it? Yeah, boy, I think. Yeah, this is sort of related. Is it important to daily moisturize your Johnson, especially for someone who gets irritated and dry skin? If so, some people say coconut oil, olive oil, something natural. So for me, what I recommend guys do, and this relates back to the whole circumcised thing, is if you are circumcised, you can develop a really dry glands. It's like the head of the penis. So I recommend using lanolin, anhydrous lanolin. Lanolin is a grease, actually, that's derived from sheep's wool. So if you're allergic to wool, do not use this. Disclaimer. But if you aren't, if you're okay with it, then yeah, you can put lanolin on the glands of your dick and cover it with, like some cling film or something like that, some plastic wrap, and go to sleep like that. And it can, if you do that for a few nights in a row, it can start to help restore some moisture to your glands, and it can restore sensitivity to the head of your penis. So that's a pro tip for you right there. So it depends. Again, if you're irritated, if you find that it's irritating and dry, try lanolin. That would be my suggestion. People recommend coconut oil. Coconut oil has a lot of the natural oils that your skin has, I believe. I think that's why they tend to recommend that coconut oil for a lot of things. Let's keep going. And he also had a follow-up question. What if she knows that you don't say sorry and demands that you apologize? Don't give in to her demands. Like, we don't negotiate with terrorists around here. Simple. You know? Like, if you did nothing wrong, if you genuinely did something wrong, like if you genuinely like fucked up and like, oh shit, I'm sorry, that was my bad. Okay, that's fine, own it. But if you didn't do anything fucking wrong, if someone's trying to shame you and guilt you into feeling sorry for your behavior, which is a lot of what women will do. Don't get like, let's not fucking beat around the bush here. They will do that. Then don't fucking apologize. King J has said, I was having sex with this girl and her pussy started pulsating fast and she was really wet. Does that mean? Probably. If you, if there's like spasming down there, particularly like around the pelvis area and internally, or like on the upper thigh, typically that indicates that she's orgasming. Yeah. And if she's soaking wet, I mean, girls could be soaking wet before you even put your dick in. If she's really into you, if you're doing foreplay, right, then you're fine. Then you'll find that is very common. But yeah, that spasming. Some girls, don't get me wrong, even in porn, some girls will like kind of fake that leg spasm. They'll mimic that when they're trying to produce a fake orgasm for the camera. The average girl isn't going to do that. So the average girl is going to actually, if she's spasming in the upper thigh, in the pelvis area, or internally, well, they can't fake the internal spasms. That's the other way to find out. That's something a woman cannot fake. She can't really control that, and internal, like, it's a quivering. So they can do like with like a Kegel exercise. They can squeeze with their vagina, yes, but if it starts to like pulsate and quiver, they can't control that. King J, means you hit the high score on the game. Yeah, exactly, Danny. What do we get to? What's your opinion on the impact of a man's physicality? That isn't a question. What does that even mean? Like, you have to tell me what you mean by a man's physicality. That is a very vague statement. What do we get to? Oops, that was a good question up here. I saw that. Timothy James says, what are my thoughts on entertaining married women wanting attention? Do you mean like sleeping with married women? If so, I would avoid it. In America, especially in America, where people have guns, it is not something you'd want to fuck around with. And I'm saying this as a guy who's done this in the past. I'm proud of it, but entertaining married women. I mean, for a start, you shouldn't be giving a woman attention unless it's going to be leading towards sex anyway. That's like the golden rule, right? But look, if you want to be a homewrecker, okay, you can go sleep around with married chicks and marriages and whatnot. Like, I've been that guy, and I don't recommend it. It's not a great place to be. It won't blackpill you. It'll if you've never had that experience before, look, I'm going to be honest. I used to get an ego trip on it when I was in my 20s, like as being the guy that could make a woman cheat on her boyfriend, cheat on her husband, cheat on her fiance with. That gave me an ego boost. So, but it also gave me a perspective on women and cheating and fidelity. It made me realize, it sort of reinforced the idea that women are these sort of like innocent, perfect little creatures that we are told they are. They have a dark side. They have just like men do. They have a dark side. They have, the ability to. It can be very ruthless. They can be very ruthless. So, if you have a woman, Timothy, if you have a married woman who is trying to get your affections, chances are her relationship with her husband is on the rocks. So, there we go. Here's an interesting question. Spicy speed. I have some acne on my back and shoulders and marks of old ones. Do girls get turned off by that? Should I just embrace it? Good question. Mate, I had this friend, still have this friend actually. He's a Brazilian guy. He moved to Perth, where I'm from, in Western Australia. We used to go out to clubs all the time, hit on girls. This motherfucker had acne scars all on his face here, like on his cheeks, from when he was a teenager, like obvious acne scars. I barely fucking noticed them because the guy was so goddamn charming and so fun to be around. He was just this constant ball of fucking like let's do it, fun in the club, like fun, positive, like energy. And he was the same way around chicks, and I guarantee you they didn't fucking notice that he had acne. They didn't give a shit because he came across as a guy who didn't give a fuck about it. Very important lesson to see that. So embrace it. It is what it is. Deal with it. I will say, however, if you want to help get rid of back knee, shoulder acne, I've done this in the past. I used to get bad back knee myself, and a couple of things helped get rid of that for me. The first thing was cutting out dairy from my diet. As soon as I cut out milk, specifically like milk, not cheese, I was fine with. It depends upon the person. Cheese doesn't do much to me, but dairy, like milk, sorry. Is that word? Sorry again. Milk would cause like acne and back knee to flare up for me. So try cutting out milk first. And then secondly, to treat your skin, I would recommend a soap. It's actually a Castile soap. So Castile soaps are actually made from olive oil. If you didn't know that. If you know the chemistry of how soaps are made, you take a fat and you add a base, and then you have a soap. And Castile soaps are made from olive oil. The brand I recommend is Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile soap. I recommend the tea tree oil brand that he has, the tea tree oil product. It's like an orange label. Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile soap, the tea tree one. Because tea tree is like it's like a disinfectant. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial. And then the olive oil soap is very, very good for the skin. And so I would use Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile tea tree oil soap and a loofah. Those things on my skin cleared up my skin, and cutting out the dairy, bang! I no longer have that back knee problem that I had in my I had this in my mid-20s. So not when I was like a teenager. I had this like when I was an adult. So that will sort that shit out. So I'd highly recommend checking that out if you have that problem. Chris, yes, I am. I am currently in Miami right now. What should we get to? I see there's a couple of subjects here. I'm going to get to those. Kegels for both men and women. Both men and women should be doing them. I think they're the Kegel is hands down one of the most, in terms of bang for buck. Like you get a lot out of Kegels for the time and energy invested into Kegels. Very, very beneficial for both men and women. Highly recommend them. I agree with you, Danny. I wish circumcision would be abolished everywhere in the world. Fuck it. Samuel says, does lasting longer really have to do with pelvic floor, regardless of how sensitive you are? Strengthening your pelvic floor helps with that sensitivity. But then there's also the other component of there's two other components of like your sensitivity or lasting longer, rather. I guess there's a few. So there would be like the mental component of lasting longer. You know, like what are you focusing on, right? Are you focusing on the sensation or are you not focusing on the sensation? If you're focusing on the sensation, you're going to go down that rabbit hole and you're more likely to bust. So there's the mental side of things. There's blood flow. How is your cardiovascular health? How is your nitric oxide production? Are you getting the blood flow down there to allow the sensations to reach your nerve endings, to reach your body, that sort of stuff? And then the third thing would be the general sensitivity of your member. So is the skin dry? Is the skin irritated? Is it chafed? Or is it smooth and fresh and healthy skin down there? Yeah, those and the pelvic floor strength all play a role in your sensitivity, Samuel. Good question. Hideo Kojima, thank you very much for the 99-cent super chat, sir. Much appreciated. He says, and thank you again for the $2.99 super chat. What strategies can I use to pull women in Perth? Man, well, first of all, it's good to see somebody else from my city in the chat. Mate, I haven't been there in fucking 4 years, so any advice I give you is going to be pretty bad. I remember when I was there, Hippie Club was one of my favorite venues to pull chicks from. The Hippie Club was great for pulling chicks. What else was good? Basically, anywhere in fucking anywhere in Leaderville, Claremont was always really good because you get all these like hot, like young teenage, like hot young fucking like college students going there, or anywhere in Cottesloe, or what's the other beach there? You know what I'm talking about? Scarborough Beach. These are all really good places to go. Yeah, but in terms of pulling chicks back to your place, the exact same. It doesn't matter really. That's just where you go to meet girls. But in terms of pulling them, it's the same strategy as anywhere else. So check out my book, How to Seal the Deal, because I lay down exactly how to fucking get laid on the first date and make it super easy. There was another few super chats here. That's an interesting question from Flavor. Does it turn women on when they find out what you do for a living? It knocks them off the fence, is the way I would phrase it. For some women, they see that and it's an immediate no. They're like, can't do it. Sorry, not me. Even if they were attracted to me, they're like, I can't do this. Other women, they don't necessarily get turned on. They get curious, which is even better. Because they're like, I wonder what it's like to fuck him, or I wonder what he's like in bed, or I wonder how big his dick is, or I wonder this, or I wonder that. They get curious about you, which is fantastic. So, yeah, but it is definitely polarizing. It doesn't mean I'm batting for a fucking 100. Far from it. So, King Chris with a $5 super chat here says, messing with a married woman can get you landed in the hospital permanently by a jealous husband. Yes, it can. I take care of someone he got a shot in the head. Yeah, fuck. This is especially in America. Other countries in the world, they don't have guns, so it's probably why I got away with it in Australia. And I'm not an idiot, and so they didn't. The dude never found out who the fuck I was, and the girl probably never. And by the time I stopped seeing the girl, actually, most of the time they didn't even break up with the dude until after I'd left, I think. But that's neither here nor there. yeah, in America especially, fucking don't do it because you could get end up with a bullet in your head. Fuck that. Do not need it. For oral health, teeth, like fucking just floss, tongue scraper, brush your teeth. That's it. And I recommend the toothpaste bites. They're like, it's not tooth, and I recommend because I try to avoid any estrogen exposure, and which basically means I'm trying to avoid plastics going anywhere near your mouth. And most toothpastes come in a plastic tube, so I recommend the brand Bites because they're actually little tablets that you crunch, and then you add water, and it becomes a paste in your mouth, and you use a wooden toothbrush or a bamboo toothbrush instead of a plastic one. Little things, all these little things in your life can add up to limiting your estrogen exposure and increasing your testosterone output. Yeah, so that's what I recommend. Mustang with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. He said, gave a girl space when her actions said she wanted it. She got angry with me for doing so. The hell? She says I'm scared of rejection, manipulation. She's just trying to shame you, man. She's just trying to shame you. She's trying to shame you because you like. So I'm curious if you can elaborate a little bit further. I'm happy to follow this up. First of all, 108 of you watching, smash the like button, lads. Smash that like button, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's just good. I'm seeing a lot of new names in the chat. I'm liking this. I'm seeing a lot of new names in the chat. I'm liking it. So maybe you could elaborate, Mustang. You said gave a girl space when her actions said she wanted it. What actions specifically? I'd be curious if you could describe that to me to see if I come to the same conclusion. She got angry with me for doing so. For giving, and then the second question I would say would, how did you give her space? Did you just withdraw attention, leave the room, not see her for a few days? What did you do to give her space? And she says, again, if she's saying you're scared of rejection, manipulation, she's just trying to shame you, mate. She's just trying to shame you, and the correct response to trying to shame you is just ignore the bitch and fucking don't give her any of your attention while she's being a bitch. So. Where did we get to? I might pop on. Who knows? We'll see. I've got a pretty busy this week. I'm pretty slammed, but we'll see if they end up doing like a show at some point. Maybe a week after, I might end up doing one with them. We'll see. Where we get to? Berserker says, can you explain female attraction a little more? It's always interested me on the difference between how men are visual and women are attracted to behavior, like swagger or caveman masculinity. Okay. The kind of things that women, like, here's a good frame of, rather than sitting here and listing off like character traits or like, you know, like things that are attraction triggers, like social proof, like being at the top of a hierarchy, being physically strong, being physically attractive, being a provider, having resources and wealth, being desired by the women, being a leader. These are all like attractive traits and qualities, right? Here's a better context to kind of understand these things in when it comes to like female attraction, because like you said, like swagger or caveman masculinity, right? Just think of it like, what would caveman times? There's fucking tigers and bears running around trying to kill us. There's other tribes of humans trying to kill us, which is even more dangerous. If a woman wants to get pregnant with a dude, how would she know that this guy can handle his shit and keep her safe? Like, that's the ultimate perspective to come from with all this sort of stuff. It's like, if she's with this guy or she's pregnant with his baby, like, and the shit hits the fan, like they're in immediate physical danger, how would he act? Like, because this is why things like unflinching body language, this is why things like holding frame are all really important, because look at a guy in like a a life-threatening situation. The guy who panics is the guy who dies. The guy who keeps cool, calm, collected is emotionally unaffected by that. I mean, he might be terrified inside, but he doesn't show it. He's like, all right, here's what we fucking do. And is tactical, like surgical with what he does in that chaotic environment is the guy who's going to survive. And so she's going to survive. And so her kids are going to survive. So that gives you a bit of context for kind of understanding why women are attracted to these things. And take into consideration that women are social creatures. They, like, again, this is the reason why, like, social proof, I think the reason why social proof is such a big trigger, the reason why, like, women want a man who other women want, is because if you think about it, we came from like a harem-based background. Like this idea of pair bonding, of like every man having a woman, is a pretty fucking new idea. If you go back far enough, like, this wasn't the norm. The norm was, okay, king, sultan, tribe leader has like 80% of the women, all to himself. And then the last 20%, the dregs that he doesn't want, get divvied up by the rest. You know? So that's like, if women are chasing this guy, it means he's the top dog. It is another really important thing to understand with like social proof and attraction and social status and hierarchy. People talk about like women being the selectors, women being the ones choosing, the sexual selectors. This isn't actually the case, and here's why. Because men are the ones who decide which man is at the top of the hierarchy. So men kind of compete and battle it out amongst themselves, and they come to this consensus on like who is the top dog. And then women just sit on the sidelines, wait for that to happen, and then pick the top, and then go after the top one or the top ones. So it's because women don't decide like who's at the top of the hierarchy, men do. So, and then the women just pick them. So that's an interesting another little take on this whole attraction thing. Mustang with another $4.99 super chat. Thank you again, sir. It takes a lot for me to finish. The longer it takes, the more pressure I feel. Is this all mental? A large part of it is. It could also be due to sensitivity. So here's a couple of things. One, make sure it could be a blood flow issue. You might just not have enough blood flow down there to like provide the sensations. So either improve your cardiovascular health or try supplementing with L-arginine. Another thing, your size is a sensitivity issue with the gland of your penis. It could be my skin or sensitized skin down there. Try the lanolin that I said before. And then finally, mentally, focus on yourself. Be a bit special. Focus on the thing you like and you enjoy. Position you like, you enjoy. Put her in the positions you like, you enjoy. Get her to do things that you like and enjoy. Get her to physically move and be, shake. Get her to jiggle her butt if you like her jiggling her butt. Get her to, I like girls to reach back and spread their ass cheeks because I'm a fucking pervert. Do whatever, instruct them because they want to please you. If the girl likes you, she wants you. If she's sleeping with you, she wants you to orgasm. Like if she can't get you off, she feels bad. Like she feels like there's something wrong with her. So she understand that she wants to get you off. So help her to do that. Instruct her as to what you like and what you enjoy. Be a bit selfish with that. That's fine. Yes, exactly, Miska. Estrogeneration by Anthony J. Every man should read this book, hands down. It is one of the most important books for men to read in this day and age because it explains a whole lot of why testosterone levels are plummeting and what you can do to fix them. Get them back up again. Trying to catch up on all these chats. How do you work in the office with women? I have a woman boss and I find it hard to be nice and appeasing. Mate, that's just the work for yourself. Become self-employed. There's your solution. Get out of corporate America. There's your solution. It's hard, man. There's no good answer for this. So the other, actually, there is an answer for this. Is have her fall for you. Have her become attracted to you. Like, and I don't mean like flirt with her and get a fucking inappropriate office charge or some shit. Like, subtly over a long period of time display that you're a very attractive man, and slowly but surely she's attracted to you, and then she starts being nice to you in the office and starts giving you all the good jobs, starts giving you all the good work, and you're the favorite pick of the bunch. But if she's married, if she's got a good husband or whatever, I don't know, this probably isn't going to happen. So the way around it is to fucking become self-employed, mate. That's really the only way around it. Excellent. Good to see you, Pop Mania. Good to see you. Nice try. Let's keep going. I like when you guys question is great. Teach me engage with what you use. It doesn't do anything else. To me, I am with these more common issues, common problems that you guys have. Lets me know, the information and the advice I'm putting out is actually helping you as many guys as possible. And two, gives me a bunch of new ideas. So, Dave Lara says it's discouraging to witness women's attitudes and behaviors on Fresh and Fit. It's important to watch, though. Yeah, it's a bit of a laugh. I'm not gonna lie. I like watching Myra just fucking roast these girls to high heaven. Super entertaining. super entertaining. But and I'm not shitting on Myra and Walter at all. I love the guys. And what they're doing important work, bringing that to guys, like bringing that like solipsism, that delusional mentality to the forefront, exposing it, showing guys, look, here's the average woman that you're dealing with. That is super important. For the guys watching, though, it's very easy to get hooked on that kind of righteous indignation, that feeling of righteous indignation, like, yes, I was right, women are all awful, here's proof, I'm gonna keep watching, yeah, roast her, show her what's what, because that ain't gonna get you laid. Like, if you actually want to be better with women, having that mentality isn't gonna get you laid. You have to love women. You have to find a way to love women in spite of all this. So come to terms with their nature, realize that they're delusional, realize that, so don't take, and maybe a better way of phrasing this is don't take them seriously. Be like, look, if their behavior demonstrates if their behavior demonstrates that they're silly and delusional, then you treat them as silly. It's like, oh, you silly little girl. It's okay. Like, I'm not going to treat her like she's a Fortune 500 CEO. So, and again, and that goes back to not putting her on a goddamn pedestal as well. So, just be careful of not falling for that, righteous indignation trap, and using it the correct way. Because you still want good. Look, every man here should want women in his life, because women are great to they're great to have in your life. They're fun. Like, they can be a tremendous source of, if handled correctly, there can be a tremendous source of pleasure and fun and joy in your life. Like, they're the spice of life, especially when there's lots of them in your life. But yeah, guys can get stuck on this sort of negative train. So just don't be one of those guys. Don't fall into that. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the fun comedic aspect of it. Enjoy that stuff, and use it to inform your decisions better, make better decisions, make better choices with women in your life. But yeah, don't get bitter. It's very important to not get bitter. You still have to love women, because every guy who's a fucking pimp, every guy who's a player, finds a way to love women still, but he understands them. He doesn't expect them to be something they're not. He understands what they are. He understands what they do, what they're capable of doing. He understands why they do what they do, and he acts accordingly. And so he's able to get what he wants. He's able to have the fun that he wants. He's able to handle them. He's able to manage them without, exposing himself to any of their darker nature, without exposing himself to any of the pitfalls, without getting manipulated. So that's what I'll say about that. Is it good for everyday use? Yeah, you could use it for every day if you want. Yeah, just keep using it until you feel like your sensitivity is back to the point where you want it to be. Yeah. I had a problem with not using lube in the bedroom and not chafing irritation. Skin burn that won't go away. Well, if there's an irritating in the skin burn situation, I would recommend go and see like a dermatologist instead, just to be on the safe side. It sounds like it might be a more serious condition. Thank you, Chris. I recommended a guy that was a version of the Fresh Fit patron to check out your channel for help. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated recommendation, King Chris. And thank you for the support. I always see you in the chat, mate. Yeah, basically, I have a bigger stick than together of politics in pretty much. Yeah, well, that's exactly what I just said, Miska. Yeah, don't get too consumed by it, and you need to work on your own experiences, yes. Max says the problem today is that ladies have so many options, Instagram, Tinder, blah, that if you don't do enough in their eyes, she can easily replace you. Yeah. You can also make your attention valuable. Make yourself irreplaceable. Yeah, there's definitely some lag going on. Mysterio, hey Stirling, what's my age range at 50 as a black Canadian male? Fucking 18 to same as everybody else. Like 18, like what would you want? Why would you want to date an 18-year-old? As that fucking idea in your head that you should feel shame for wanting a young woman. Talking fucking underage for the kids watching. I'm not talking like a mature woman who's of legal age, right? I don't give a how old you are. Like you look like old millionaires' yachts are filled with 18-year-old girls. So why can't you date a fucking 18-year-old girl? If you're a good man, if you're a high-value man, if you've built yourself up. Now, if you've spent 50 years being mediocre and being comfortable, you probably don't have much to show for it. But if you put the work in, if you spent your time building up your wealth, building up your physique, staying in shape, building a network, you are extremely fucking valuable. So why wouldn't you want to go after like the premium pussy? Go after it. You know? Stop settling for less, man. Stop settling for less. There was another question in here I wanted to find. Oh, of course. Yeah, I've got many of the ladies on the podcast lean towards politically correct, which tells you how much cap they really are. That's absolutely true, of course. Exactly. Blue Diesel. Just like James Brown said. It's a man's world, but it's nothing without a girl. Yeah? A few questions in here. Yeah, sorry if the feed's lagging a bit. It's my bad because I'm in a hotel with not fantastic Wi-Fi, so that's my bad. Mustang with another follow-up question. Thank you, sir. He says, follow-up to my first question. Withdrew my attention and time and didn't see / talk to her for a day or two. After she flaked on me once. This was after months of her being obsessed with me and telling me so. Oh, well, then you did the right thing. Like, if she's flaking on you, then yeah, just ignore the bitch. Simple. Like, it's complied. It should be complied with by, man. It's not that hard. But she's obviously used to getting her own way, and she's obviously, if she's a Western girl, which I'm assuming she is by her attitude, it sounds like she's just fucking used to doing whatever she wants and getting her own way. So just fucking give it that. Like, all right, you don't want to. You're flaking on me. You can't reward good behavior. Oh, sorry, you can't reward bad behavior. You got to punish bad behavior. You got to give it like fucking next to bitch. You know, you got to. You did everything right. Now she's come back she's trying to get your attention again by creating an argument. She's trying to get your attention by creating an argument. So don't give your attention. She has to learn the only way to get your attention is to be nice and do what the fuck you want. Otherwise, she doesn't get your attention. Remember, which question was it breaking up during? Maybe I can go over it one more time. Yeah, exactly. The feminized office is a minefield. Don't cross the line. The gossip mill works overtime if there's a single male around. Yep. Excuse me. Interesting question. Oops, where we go? I was said hi. The 50 question. There was a 50 question? Oh, this one. This question. Yeah, I said, why wouldn't you want to date an 18-year-old girl? Why wouldn't you want to date, like, I'm not saying don't date, I'm not saying date underage chicks. I'm saying date girls who are of legal age, who are women. I'm saying, what if you're a 50-year-old guy, you should have spent 50 years like building up your physique, building up your net worth, building up your network, your social circle, your hierarchy. You should be a very high value guy. So why wouldn't you go after like 18-year-old girls, 20-year-old girls? Is it like whatever girl you want, whatever girl you find attractive, go after her. Stop settling for like you should stop settling for why would be shamed or guilted into thinking, oh, it's pedophilia, you fucker, she's that age. Motherfucker, like every like an oligarch who is 7 has a bunch of 18-year-old chicks on the yacht. You think he gives a fuck? Of course he doesn't. It's fucking retarded. That mentality. Women are just trying, like, anytime, and it's always women who will shame you. It's women and effeminized men who will try to shame a man, an older man, for dating a younger one. And here's why. Well, the feminized men are trying to be fucking, they're just trying to get on board. They're trying to win brownie points with the girls. So that's that covered. The women are doing it because they know subconsciously that their value depreciates over time. So they're trying to make it socially acceptable. Sorry, they're trying to make it the social norm for men to date older women so that they can fuck around for longer and they can misbehave for longer and they can not sort their life out for longer. That's the ultimate goal, subconsciously. If every older man was like, well, no, we're not going to date like girls, all right. We're not going to date like women older than 30, older than 35, whatever it is. If every guy said that, then there's all these women who are off the market because they fucked around with feminism, they ruined their life. And all the 18-year-old want to get attention. So, and you'll notice that it's the fucking older bitches who always call older men pedophiles and shit and creepy old men first. It's not the younger ones. It's not the hot ones who are getting put on their fucking yachts. Yeah. I'm not sure if it's an STD or it's checked, but it's a skin irritation. Yeah, urologist and a dermatologist probably. I mean, I'm not even sure. I'd probably say a dermatologist first, but I don't know if dermatologists look at dicks. I don't know if they do that. I'm not a doctor, so go check it out. I'll get it checked out. Where do we get to? Where do we get to? King Frotz, this man knows from psychology from the inside out. Excellent work. Thank you very much, sir. I try. I try. Facts. Yesy Burden for the 999 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Did 100 jokes in a small stretch routine every day to increase the size. For the second time, it seems that my hard quality has decreased. Am I doing too much, or am I just getting older at 33? Okay, there's a bunch of stuff going on. So, seems that my hard quality has decreased. It could be, again, it could be a cardiovascular health, it could be a blood flow thing. If you are increasing in length, you want to make sure that you, like if you're doing any kind of stretching or growth routine, you want to make sure that you're keeping your cardiovascular health on point in addition to it, because you're putting stress on the muscle down there. So it's going to need to do more work to achieve the same result. I mean, especially if you get bigger, there is more blood to fill. There's more vascularity to engorge, right? So you have to make sure your cardiovascular system is on point. Make sure you're doing Kegels whilst you're doing this. Make sure you're doing Kegels, because Kegels will make sure you have a strong pelvic floor. They'll make sure the blood flowing is strong and on point while you're doing all this stuff. So make sure you're adding Kegels into your routine. And they're easy. You can do them in the shower. Fucking a few minutes, your Kegel routine's done. You're good. Right. Oop. Go see a dickologist, exactly. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, King Frog. Lads, we've been going for Jesus. Like I was expecting to cut this stream short, and then we've been just fucking flying on for like ages. I would say answer your question. I'd say choose one or two techniques and focus on those. Focus on whatever the outcome it is that you want. Pick a couple that you like. Pick a couple that you can do. Whatever you can do consistently and regularly is the most important thing, because that's the hard part, is doing it consistently over a long period of time. So make it easy for yourself. Set yourself up to win. Don't try and do too much at the same time, is what I would say to that. Dave Laura says, Stirling, you're a valuable addition to the sphere. We are lucky. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. And yeah, I think that'll do us for today, gentlemen and lady in the chat. I hope you guys have a good one. Don't forget, smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Check out my ebooks. They're in the description down below here on my YouTube channel. Check out all the different products I offer. And you can get my free guide, The 5 Subtle Mistakes Men Make in the Bedroom and How to Fix Them. So check that out by all means. It's completely free. It's down there in the description down below. So check that out. And yeah, as always, you enjoy your week. Get it there and fucking conquer life, lads.